here joined by the one and only Steve Chandler. He's also referred to as the godfather of coaching. Steve, a few things I want to say about Steve. We just right now had our first conversation with each other. And I just mentioned to Steve that he had impacted my life greatly without us ever having had a conversation. And that's the reason why I reached out to you and ask you to be part of that program, because there is no other person really that I can think of that has influenced my life as much as you did without knowing you personally. So I've read your books. I came across your works it must be 4 or 5 years ago when I got into the profession of coaching. And what struck me about it was really a different approach than I often had seen in terms of how to get about business, how to create business, how to create lasting relationships with other businesses or people that was not based around marketing. It was really a different approach. And I had my on and offs with it, with coming from service and your way of seeing the world. But after some time in the profession and really getting out of thinking about your concepts or what you're pointing to and really applying it in my life, it has and keeps having great impact. So just some hard facts about what I think to know of you, and you correct me if I'm wrong on any of that, is you've written, what is it, like 36 books by now, around that. You've been a public speaker. You coach since 4 decades, really, I guess. Is it?
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah. You've been working with all sorts of professions in helping people to create what they really want in their lives, small businesses, big businesses. You work in corporate, and you especially helped a lot of coaches get a sustainable business starting, and something that you also do right now through the help that you've given to other people that are now starting to help the profession as a whole. So that's just the tip of the iceberg of what I could say about you. But yeah, anything that you would add to that?
No, that's more than enough. That's all true.
Wonderful. So I wanted to have this short conversation with you, Steve, based on one thing that you speak about extensively, and that is service. And that is also service not as an idea of only charity, but really as an idea to apply in business and also to grow business. So one thing that I experienced with that is just the level of service that you've given to this group, to this conversation, to the program itself. We had some interactions and you just agreed to have this conversation, and you're sending books that everyone is getting, one of them being your new book that I wanted to show because I really enjoy reading it, and it's on the curriculum for the program. I wanted to have you share about what is service in your eyes. Really, yeah.
Well, it's making a difference. It's willingness to make a difference with somebody rather than persuade them of something or manipulate them or enchant them or win them over or talk them into something. I want to set that aside. All of that's very ego-based. All that's based on me, what I want. And I become a taker. I want to show you what it is that's available to you. So if it's coaching, or if it's some form of body work, or if I do acupuncture or acupressure or anything I do, hypnosis, I want to give you an experience of what it is in such a way that benefits you, that serves you, so that once you have been served, you can make a decision on whether you want to continue to work with me based on the degree to which the work has served you, not based on a leap of faith you're trying to make. Like, well, the guy sounds good, he has a lot of confidence, and he's got a good resume, but it's still a leap of faith. I don't know if I want to spend all this money. I don't want people to have to take a leap of faith. I want to ask myself, am I serving this person? Am I making a difference? Am I helping out? Not whether is my email persuasive? Will it get him to want to buy something? So it has a lot of forms. Once I'm committed to service, I wake up and serve, then it has a lot of forms. So if I'm running a group, let's say, then I want to give the experience of the group ahead of time to the people I'm inviting. So I might have a free seminar and we'll do 90 minutes of the group for everybody for free so you can feel like what it is to be in the group. Or if I'm writing a book and I'll send you a few chapters, I'll post a chapter online or 2 chapters online and you can read it and see if you like it, not buy it on faith or trying to guess whether it's good or buy it on some promotional bragging about how good it is. It's effective. A lot of people think they get it confused and think, oh, I just have to give stuff away for free. I got to give my time away for free and I'm not getting anything back. That's not what it is. It's more impactful. It's designed to be more impactful than that. Not for me to just become a doormat everyone can walk over and take my time for free. No, that's not the point. The point is, if we're going to have a conversation, I'd like it to make a difference. I don't want it to be all about how great I am and what my service, how wonderful my service is. Tell me what's going on with you. How can I help you right now? This may be the last conversation we ever have. So I don't want to spend it promoting myself.
That's already filled with gold. So anyone listening to that, really, for me, there were so many things you're pointing to in terms of what we can do already in our work, in sharing really our work. What I see quite a lot is that people kind of get the idea of service and then they want to do service, and it's an on and off into being in service. And I include myself into that, like really getting out there, getting up in the morning and wanting to make a difference, and then having the ego approach sneak in and be like, oh, and now I write a post that is very marketing based, or I look at my bank account and I'm like getting in a rush and saying, oh my God, it's not the number that I want to. So I get out again and I want to get people in. What have you found useful in that? Or when you're working with people, you used to work with people, what have you seen helped in that transition?
I don't want to make my desire to get people in, to have clients, have buyers for my books. I don't want to make that wrong. I want to harmonize that with service. So, for example, I have a new book out, just written for coaches with Kameen Samuel. Now we think, okay, we've got a new book out. So we have recorded some videos of Kameen and myself talking, sharing content from the book so that the video itself would help somebody. Even if they said, I'm not buying any book, but this video helped me understand something. So thank you for it. So it is designed to give people a better chance of buying something I want them to buy. So I don't pretend that I don't have a desire to have clients or to make a good amount of money. That's behind everything. But service is not the most saintly or the best. You become a wonderful, admirable human being if you serve. It is the most effective. That's why in the coaching school, we teach forms of service rather than forms of selling, because coaches would say, people aren't hiring me because they don't know what coaching is. And I say, right. And they say, well, I try to tell them what coaching is, and I'm afraid to promise too much, and I don't really know how to describe what coaching is. And you're right. So what's the answer to that? Let them feel, let them experience what coaching is, and then they'll know whether they want more of it. So that's how we created the system in the Prosperous Coach book. I've got an online course that teaches serving rather than selling, but it teaches that because experience shows you get clients faster and you make more money that way. So I can keep both things going. You talk about going in and out of service. These are parallel. I want these two commitments to make a good living and to serve as nurturing each other, coexisting, not competing. Oh, there I go promoting myself again. And why don't I serve? No, what can I send out there that would serve somebody? So that's what it is. That's the point of it. The point of it is effectiveness. The point is not it's better, makes you a better person, it's more loving, it's more spiritual. It happens to be that, but it comes from experience and it comes from being more effective.
One thing that strikes me right now is just something that I've experienced many times in listening to your audios and books, how little judgment you place on right and wrong, good or bad in your work with people. And I wonder, is that playing into your ability to serve people as well?
Yeah, I think so. I've had to learn that the hard way. And I think you're talking about the right way to do something, the wrong way? What's the right way to get clients? What's the wrong way? I'm not talking about right and wrong from an ethical or moral standpoint. That's a different conversation. But as far as should I do blogs? Should I do this? Should I charge a high fee? Should I charge a low fee? The people swing back and forth between, am I doing it wrong? Am I doing it right? There's a middle ground where all progress is made called seems to work for me. And people never go there. They want to do it the right way or the best way. And that creates anxiety and it creates tension and stress in my life. And I did that for years. So I'm not judging other people for doing that. That's kind of an early stage of learning how this works, is you almost have to struggle a bit to find your way to what works through experience. But in coaching and serving, non-judgmental listening, non-oppositional conversation, even when I work with sales teams selling products, they had to learn to really understand the customer and not debate and try to sell and try to manipulate, but to collaborate with the customer to have their product or service get what the customer wants. To find out, why do you want this? How would it help you? And if they say, well, your product's overpriced, your service is, I don't want to say, no, it's not. I want to say, yeah, it's very expensive. It's a real commitment. I understand that. I get you. You're right. It's a commitment. So that's non-judgmental interaction with people that makes it easier to collaborate with people around you.
Right. And what I'm hearing in that as well is like no arguing or judging in that or discussion in that. It's just simply being there and hearing what the other person says and seeing how can I go with that? Like, what can I do for that?
That's it. Exactly. You got it.
Wonderful. Wonderful, Steve. What would you tell someone who has followed a different approach, as we just said, like harmonize both approaches? So maybe I've been there and I followed some marketing courses that said like, okay, you need to persuade the customer and this is how people work. So you have to do it in a certain order, spam everyone with your offers. And if you spam enough people, then someone will come back. And they now see like, okay, maybe that's not the only way. And I want to incorporate that being there for others and as an effective way of growing my business. When they make this transition into that, what's something that you would suggest to them looking for, or how could they best prepare for walking the service path, as I like to say?
Well, it's always based on your experience. So it's testing rather than trusting. So if somebody tells me, if you spam enough people on LinkedIn, Facebook, however you do it, the law of averages is that a percent of them will want your service. All right, that's a theory. Now, I want to find out if that's true. Is that true in the world of coaching? And what we have found out over the last few decades working with coaches is they're not having a lot of success with that system. I'm not against the system if it works. I'm for anything that works. There's not a bad system, a good system. But what we found through experience is coaching is intimate service. It's all about two people understanding each other. It's not about getting your name out there and getting your reputation out there. That's just a small percent of why people hire you. So all this spamming and all this marketing, if it's not working, what's another thing you're willing to experiment with? And the answer so far, and I'm open to anything that works, is that coaching practices are built through conversations. They're built through two people understanding each other. They're not built through notoriety and reputation and all that. It just kind of looks that way. But when people try it, it doesn't work for them. So that's the only reason we've arrived in the coaching prosperity school. All the coaches who are in there who have done it and who teach it, they found out by trial and error that if I filled my week with conversations with other people, my business would grow. And when I spent my time on my website and sending out spams and things like that, my coaching business stalled. It was stuck. So it's all experiential.
I appreciate that very much, Steve. And I just want to add the same that you just applied to coaches, in my experience, is also applying for body work or even the dance performances that I did.
Yeah.
Without the experience of that, no one ever hired me. Thank you so much, Steve, for giving your time. And I want to point people to something that they can get for nothing. It's free. It's your email list where you send out weekly experiences for people really on what works in growing a service-based business. And to me, it applies as much to massage therapists as it does to coaches or therapists or facilitators, meditation teachers, you name it, like people in the people business, people to people business. So how can they get to that and how can they grab you, hold of you?
Just go to stevechandler.com and you can sign up and you'll get the weekly coaching tips on how to grow a prosperous practice. That's the whole focus. And if you like them, you can keep getting them and you can unsubscribe if you don't like them, but they don't cost anything. And they're fun to write. I write one every week and I get great feedback and it's a really fun process. So anyone can get that.
Yeah, and I truly love them. Any last words you have to say to people that are in the program already or might think about getting into the program, the Being Business program that we do this interview for?
I just want to acknowledge you for the work you do to bring people together, the commitment you have to help other people grow their businesses in a way they can enjoy, make a difference in the world, and also become prosperous. That helps the whole world when you become prosperous at what you do. You have more money to give to causes you like, and everything improves.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Steve. Thank you for being here.
You're very welcome.